Hi. How are y'all? It is October 3rd, and we just made a move. We just made a collective move. And so I have a couple of things to come on and announce. Number one, and please, this is about handler programs. Even I don't care if you're an RH negative, if you were in the Eve program at all, if you had any Essene gene, then you were definitely in some type of sexual handling program, whether or not it was happening to you or your energy was being used to fuel it for the entertainment industry or for worse shit in the end. Okay, then you had programs around you of people, men. Dealing with men is what this program was all about. Now, if you had this program, you also had your other programs that were associated with your DNA lines, and there are 4 family programs that everybody in the line has to come through. So I'm telling you all of this because it's become super clear to us what the hell we've been doing for the past 6 or 7 years. All of a sudden today, thank God, because these projectors are coming down, we're blowing this out. But the whole reason and what's been happening for the past 7 years was that program interacting with you to see what your new character and what your ranking is going to be on New Earth. Boom shakalaka. This is what all of us knew and we were warning everyone else about. And you can talk about this in planetary systems and Saturn and how it all works and projects down here. But the truth is, what's been going on is that all of us got activated for a bunch of different reasons, mainly because we had to have the ancient connections back into the DNA of the human and the planetary systems so that we would have bodies and we would have our own space and place to exist. Problem was that got developed a long time ago and they just never would let us in. Well, they're letting us in. They have to. Is the mind program. 3 of us got out. What I'm also wanting to let y'all know, and this is different for everybody because this is where I cleared and actually was involved with writing these programs. And those of you who are leaders of the lines of all the women, I mean, you got to clear your own level of that to be able to control that etheric without losing your cookie cutter, right? Or blowing your goose. We blow our goose in the beginning, don't we? But then we get real good at realizing, oh, when I blow my goose, oh, I got to do it in a different way. Well, we've already mastered that too. Because it all sets up in a giant projector. So for me, my characters were the program itself, which is why it's been impossible to reel it in because I didn't understand that until fully today, which is why I'm on here sharing it with you because this is one of those keys. So whenever you realize, oh, okay, well, son of a bitch. Okay, well, that's why all that weird stuff happened. That's why I was tested in every way. And which ways were you tested? And then realize, too, that they's planning on us not being alive and remembering that we wrote it. So if you were writing the programs, because a lot of y'all were, then recognize which programs you was writing and put in your edits from a high consciousness. From a high consciousness. Now, how you can cover your ass on this is make it collective. I make everything about what my moves collective. Whenever the collective reaches a point where they need a trigger pulled, I'm the one that they call in my realm. This is the second part of what I wanted you to talk about. While they're doing this vote about McCarty, okay, let me tell you what's really going on. Because they got everybody looking over there because they're trying to hide what just went down over here in Denton and what's going on in New York, lining up with Canada right now, which is the rethreading of the projector needle for the human race. It's happening today. And what I clearly now understand and what I clearly see is how Denton, Texas became such a big deal. Because this is all about Texas, let me tell you. This whole thing has been about a bunch of people in California claiming to have powers and being the ones that were making all the changes down in Texas and affecting everyone down here in the South and giving it all to everybody who ever paid into their little program. And they didn't have any right to do that, and they weren't the ones that were making the energy, and they knew it. And this is also the Confederate War and all these things. So these are these timelines and this balancing that is taking place right now. Hi, Daniel. You have a human race that's all dead because you're in after-death timelines. But everybody's been programmed to not remember that. It's your number one. Number two, all of our bodies down here have been working together to build the portal that we just jumped through in order to connect in with the human race so that we could produce every living thing again in our own consciousness ways the way we need to. And it's supposed to float with us like we're doing right now through a higher DNA strand because we came here and pulled this off. The way that the AB structure's set up, which it don't matter if you have AB blood or not. I need everyone to realize that if you go to YouTube right now and you go to TubeBuddy, you are told as a creator that the whole fucking system is programmed on AB testing right now by Ben Labs. Well, what that means is that YouTube and Google, which we knew, this is the mind control. That was the Star Crew angelic, the codes that we ended up putting in. We just had to go about it a bigger way. That are attached to these etheric layers as we're clearing through these suns, and all of y'all are blowing out your etheric bodies and opening up at the same fucking time. And this pop stand is about to blow. It was all harnessed down to Texas and Denton, mirroring to McKinney. And then basically even from the far outs, whenever you're shooting in here from another dimension, they had moved the portal that you slip in through to get here, and it leads you right into a fucking trap. And they used me to set it. Because I was your G. And Texas thought that they owned all of us on a 150-year contract that Texas and Oklahoma signed with Disney. But that's on top of the 3,000 years I've done in New Orleans, the 7,000 years China had me, which is why China knew whenever Biden made that call that they thought that they had us in their control. Because it's always been what this is about. I was made by the Air Force. The only people that were controlling your higher dimensional air travel in the end were who? The government. what they're really doing and what 9/11 was all about is it's a big old cake in the United States, especially because the whole world just got zapped in the United States gate. This was always where it was all going to take place. That's why they're all here. This is even the only land in the end that's really manifesting the rest of the land. This is why Russia is trying to come from the Baltic, to get to, because they's trying to basically blow out that connection. They's all working together. The mafia, Russia, they're just doing the same maneuvers on two different spheres that are lined up like a chessboard. Because it was all about the constellation alignments and this ray connection that has to be reestablished every million years, and it's the projector of the eye. But first you have to take over the human race's DNA, and that is why they built us. They built ones like me to move star systems, wrangle star systems, all of us ancients. They were maneuvering us around down here and keeping us asleep because they knew that we basically drove this ship. And they had us drive it the opposite direction, especially whenever they hit me with the car, sawed me in half, turned my body the opposite way, 360 degrees, and anchored it and took out my disc, which became Sirius C. Now I know. And Sirius C and Cancer was anchoring everything to that Pluto-Saturn alignment of 2020, and that's whenever the films lined up to their shit. And then basically we've been clearing from their shit, and then because basically we've been clearing what was going to happen in the future through these programs, and we did it and we completed it. It's all, we got the human race, even we're in the O blood already. I mean, all that. And I was guided last night. A clip just basically popped up on my phone from last year in the garage at Anaheim, where I went raw and we did the Da Vinci body and everything else. And it was reminding me that we had to lock up Mars. And I think that that might be what blows up and gets thrown into space-time is Mars. Something with that. Because the moves that I made today and what we've been setting up for it. So, to my crew and our fireball shots, because we all have a story about a fireball shot. Normally it's whenever you just drinking a shot and all of a sudden light language might spew out of your mouth and you're like, what the hell balls? Well, it's all because of this right now. It's why even in Texas they're made available at the convenience stores. We command every fireball anybody has ever drank to culminate and give them holy fire. And divine codes take over with the alchemy. Tell us what to do to guide it in pretty. $240. Oh, there's our 24 again. HDGIH will hold. That's Gough. Gough. There ain't no holding nothing. And in fact, all you gypsies that have your little power containers over here, and what y'all are doing on the Salt Branch Road, over there off Boson, over here in Cloneville Central, where you have the true queen gridded down into your gas chambers that just blew open the universe, and it's gonna sling us out into the future Earth and trap you down and fucking throw your Mars out in where you tried to throw Venus into the orbit of fucking Jupiter, and let's just see what the goddamn happens then. Because all these containers that you've got over here that you think that you're just going to house our energy, and hash all day long. Like the fact that y'all even have this shit over here around me right now, and then you want to pull up with the pipeline as I'm driving it back through. Mind you, Denton, Texas is where they did the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's at 1901 Opera House, and it's a big fucking deal. Because what they did with that movie is program all of the clock towers in all the movies that have the clock towers, even Back to the Future, even Ghost Whisperer, all those shows that have those fucking clock towers are gridded down to a clocking system that they's putting out, especially in all of the town squares in Texas, which Jesus Lord Christ, there's a gazillion of them motherfuckers. Every little town over here has got their own little square. Well, that's how it works. Not today. What's going on is that the city of October, which is it's called the 6th of October. Go look it up. It's a city. It's in Egypt, and it's actually, if I'm looking at where the heart was, because I mean, I can even go show you where the heart was. We've been like fixing it in the planet and stuff this whole time. For a while, they had this like green goo machine hooked up to it. We got that shit out of there. But you can see where the heart is in the planet. And it's right in Egypt. When you pull up Egypt, and the Nile's right on this side, if I'm looking at it, the Nile's, well, I'll just show you. Evidently, we're connecting in there right meow. I'm also at 96 degrees longitude and 32 degrees latitude over here. And FYI, I'm at 155. I'm jumping between 155 and 158 is my trajectory to go forward. Y'all best move out the fucking way. Because what they're doing, and this is why Pilot Point had a plane crash this weekend. Killed a whole fucking family of 4. Well, Pilot Point is less than 5 miles from my house. And what they were doing was running, because you have to set up, those of us down here that are trying to get everything down here, you have to set up a plan. You have to create the map. Well, whenever your energy is so fucking powerful that they can see you everywhere, and then whenever you're magnetized to everything, and as soon as you do it, it changes it. There becomes a problem. This is how they always knew what we were going to do before we did it. And then we never had enough time in order to maneuver all of our people into the placements when we do it. But when the human race is connected, everybody's laying codes, everyone's doing a little dance, right? Like, it'll just take over your body. You'll just start dancing in the middle of the street. And then you'll feel better than ever. But that's because the angelic crew and God consciousness and Christ consciousness is overriding people in the middle of these fucking missions and scenarios. Literally. This is how we've been doing it for the past 5 years. But we could only control the lower frequency ones. Now we're in the whole thing. And everyone's coming into our cleared templates, because the 6th of October ain't gonna link in. There's nobody in the planet to link it into. We're all up here. And we've been telling them that. Your planet, we need to speak to your manager. But this is what's happening right now. And last year, I had him in the perfect position, because it was always, we had to get rid of the last of this energy. Because if you're bright light, it just follows you in. We had to gate it. I mean, it took a lot to make sure nothing followed in our shadow from out there. If you think about it from physics, I mean, and then this amount of, that's what we've been doing. That's what, especially beings like me that are astronomy and all that, is because we've been activating the human race in order to build back the the map of where the fuck we're supposed to be right now in the constellation of what you would call space, with who the fuck was down here. And that was our point. That part. So now the entire reality is going back to the purified codes of all of us through our struggles the past 7 years, breaking through every single one of the programs, because we did. We broke fucking every single one. We did. So now too, realize that if you fell, you didn't fall. You're right where you're supposed to be. But the new programs, once you're in the ascended energy and you don't fight it, the new programs, that's easy peasy cover girl. And there's usually the reason that you're there still, and you knew that you had to slow down and see, and this is where the twin thing came. This is like that not wanting, knowing. Some of you just knew that you couldn't give up on a certain person. Okay. And then that's because y'all are shifters. You're probably not as old as me you're not a Generation Xer. You came in the 80s. You came in the 90s. Your codes are already, you didn't have the severity of the program to have to deal with the leaders of the program to break the program. So you didn't have to get programmed as much. So you're programmed to keep that person around at an arm's length, so that whenever this came, that you could communicate with them energetically. And the reason that was is because it was tied to your not your karma. It's more like it's tied to an ancestor or a role that your soul is guiding you to, that you've also chosen. And it's kind of like you pulling, when that happens, and you making that call and being out of judgment and what he did to me and because you can't be like that. You gotta see it from this perspective. If you make that call, or however it is you're guided to connect, then you clear everyone, and then it immediately catapults your codes up to whatever that position was that you's in line for. And the mastery of understanding that that's why you stayed behind, because that is the mastery. Because as soon as you realize that, then you start realizing, oh, well, then there's just some things I need to pay attention to. There's some alchemy here, because I'm just here to grab the bags. So why did I put myself here again? What are the clues that I left for myself? Hi. Lighthouse. That's a code for sure. That tells me something. Because the Andromeda thing is adios amigos. The parts of the Andromeda program that became, that were used in the final product are still there. But Andromeda ain't out there, it's inside now. Basically, the Andromeda program had all Andromedan beings. And the reason I'm talking about this is because Mars is adjacent. Arcturus and Izar, 27 degrees, is right opposite Andromeda. And this is what they's doing. They's lining up Aries and then shooting. Like, they shooting through both. They shooting through Sagittarius and then shooting underneath at the same time, because they're dragon reptilians, like I'm telling you. This is what they're doing. I was one of them. I'm not like them. Now I'm not even them anymore. By divine intervention. Literally. Literally. We are cleared from this by divine intervention, because they had worked through They almost took over fucking everything. That's what I'm over here screaming. We're all through a rebirth process. We're all going through a resurrection process right now. But that's why I see this, and I got it because it went back to Sagittarius. We proved, I had the Cleo codes. That's what, and then they always had control over the Cleo codes through Rome and Augustus and which is all just bosons and physics. And you can put them in one little mini, and let me tell you, this main motherfucker, regenerative and regen. They wanted to regen, Well, that's Scientology, G. Every single name that I ever did in a Japanese calculator of somebody that's famous in Scientology, it has re in it, R-E, or less, L-E-S. Why? Bless you. Oh, see, that's why it makes them so mad. And we didn't know why. Well, that's why. They use the word bless. And re. Everything. So that took over Renee. And that's a big deal. Because that's R-E-N-E-E. Well, you can't get E-N-E-E unless you've done E-Z-E-E. And you can't get E-Z-E unless you've done A-Z-A. And then you're dealing with the Sazu, Asa, Isa, Ina. And then that became I-E-N. See, we just unplugged the main reptilians connected into Denton, being run from Benton, Arkansas. We unplugged 3 of them about an hour ago. And we were all set up to do it too. Because at that 280 intersection right there, see, in 2021, once I'd already gone and proven, because I'd proved, that was the problem. It wasn't me proving and the collective proving. It was them trying to kill us because we proved. So basically, whenever I came back here in 2021, I had to be shrinked again. My etheric body had already blown up. I was connected into all of y'all. But whenever I came in that gate, the whole freaking force stopped, shut down. And I ordered my energy to shrink in. And then the matrix turned on and I went back in. Well, we just got those bags. And we disconnected from all timelines entirely per history. Literally. Because this is what they's doing down here, and it's nuts. And we just unplugged Bass, Coke, Hunt, Taylor's. The JJs, MJ12, and Joseph, Jason. We deleted all people and all energetics of any churches that were teaching the doctored covens and especially the doctored covens. That was even worse than the Book of Mormon. Jesus Christ, right now. But then we connected with every church that was Christ-based because we got the report that they's all on board with everything. But then we had to delete the China version of that because they went all wiki-whack on it. Because understand that those codes with the human race, the way they had them tuned, was taking over large races of people and making them do shit that they would never do. That part. So here's what I came on to tell you. Because I'm seeing it line up right now and I'm understanding. Because when I said we shot out and we went boom, boom, that's what we did. We shot out because the Stargate birthed in the core. The Stargate birthed the M35. Well, that's in the core of Gemini. In the eye. There was only one fucking little connection left to the human race, and it was right here. And I just looped it. And when I broke it before in Denton, the CIA came, took all of my information because I hit a car, because you know that I tripped that fucking dimension. And then they locked me in it and set up the entire fucking sacrifice system again on the entire human race, because it was already connected that I was back y'all's lead as it was birthing through the lines. And whenever they got all of it, when they got me, they got my army. And then it was close. When they came for me and my eye out there in space, we shot through, is what happened. And that's even why Brittany ended up with Sam, because we pulled 5 through. On the other side, we had to put them all to sleep. Like, this is how I got out of Anna. See, I'm coming out right now. And it's going to hit out of that ocean right there. That ocean right there. Because they would have left Hawaii alone. No. Well, I don't know what to tell you now. Hold on, Betty. Hold on. Because basically what's going to happen is when this comes, we're going to be like this. Like a bird. Like with wings out here. Because they've got it gridded. Because they're still doing quantum shit out there. I went to break it. It's done. It is what it is. So here's what's going to happen. When it happens, we're going to go. Just like that. Just like that. I mean, it's sheer ignorance and stupidity to even think that you have that much ego, that anything that you build is going to stop the force of what is coming here. All of us have been nice, and we've been telling you and warning you about our ancestors, and all of y'all laugh because you have only met your earth ancestors. Well, wait till you get a load of these guys. You're talking about an energy that it took all of human history in order to contain it in a human body without you losing your fucking mind. Obviously, because it's what was happening down here. And then it's a force that is so fucking massive and huge that you have to be the most ancient beings on this planet in a feminine body and able to even harness with the rest of the entire feminine consciousness of the universe at the same fucking time to even process the gravity of what the fuck is going on right now. Trust. Over here we know. We're fucking out of here. I delete Ma out of man. I delete and override all of it. And line it up per the fucking frequency and the program that they proved they needed to be in. And as long as they've been doing it to us, fucking balance it out. And they better start doing good deeds and positive alchemy. How long they're in it is up to them, because we need some fucking heroes right now. And I refuse to believe that in the end, because I also know that the program was so strong, and why it was divine intervention is because in the end, they did all say no. I know this. Every human group down here, everyone that got to the table and they and realized with the consciousness that we'd all been birthing and connecting and in order to get them to our kings, because that's how it works. I want all of y'all to know that none of them sold us out. I need you to know that. Now, it don't mean it didn't fucking happen. And that is why this is divine intervention, because then you are messing with the human's experience, and that is not the human experience that we chose, which is why it is being corrected. And when that happened, and they did say no, and then I still was having to blow out of the G Court and set all this up for doomsday and a fucking double jet out of here. That's when we started fucking partnering together in order to get the double jet out of here. You follow? That was even a message just came in from me right now. Your most ancient beings have been playing roles down here. I mean, there's one character that I had. We'd jump up into a timeline to where we could get a communication to each other, and then it'd be fucking great for like 2 or 3 hours. We'd get all this information out, and then we'd have to end in a fight, because we could never let them think that we was actually. We had to make them always think that we were both playing each other, so that they would even allow the communication. That's how bad. And they want me to tell you this even, because remember, we walked through time blowing up these gates that they setting up on y'all. But it's all happening at the same time. And in 2020, when I would need to get a call to Rex over here before they took him, I would have to make 3 different. Well, first I'd have to get situated in an Airbnb on a certain property, blah 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 blah, in order to be able to make the connection. Then I would have to call or text through 2 or 3 different handlers in my Rolodex. Whether they answered or not, I'd have to tag them in order to then call. Just to give you an idea of how they's controlling everything. That's how it's set up. It's not going to link in. When it goes to link in, all of our etheric bodies have reverse engineered it for this time. And then our etheric bodies go, boom, they're already like clank, 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 clank at the door. We're like holding it like this, holding it like this, holding it like this, holding it like this. And all this back, bing, 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 bing. Now it's like when you get down to, it's like condense, 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 condense. And then you got one little ding, 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 ding. And then it gets in the middle. And it gets in the middle in the sweet spot. And it's like, ooh, that's where we're at right now. Ooh. And then it, that's what's happening. Just so you know. And what's happening is, because their projector was Fomalhaut, Gabriel, on a 4-headed dog that we connected. We deleted Ma from Dog Man. Meh, 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 meh. Nope. Nope. I don't care who made you. I don't care what government NATO stamp you have on your fucking asshole. You gotta birth it from the inside out to connect with us. What do you think we went and cleared all the goddamn military programs for? They have no idea how bad they blew up the world. They really don't. But that's how they made everybody really powerful and completely unconscious. So I had to say all this to say this because my battery's about to die. But everybody needs to know all timelines are lined up right now. You're not going to have any more friends or anybody in your bubble that's not going to be feeling the same thing at the same time. I don't care where the fuck you are, because we already blew that. It's lined up. Number 2, and the final thing that I came on here to explain, is that Denton is connected into the New York pillars. So basically you can think of it as the brain. And when then they blew the New York pillars, it crashed in on the brain. But then over in Denton, there's another level. And there's twin towers, and it's all lined up on this big system that goes down into the core right there, that's connected into everything that was running the Wi-Fi, running the brain patterns. I mean, they literally were just frying our brain and sending y'all the information. FYI. That's why the magic and everything and all that got so fucking nuts, because the human collective had already established all those layers, and then they just came in and gated them, right, Bill? Because Bill came from, he went to the past to get a keyboard, because in the future, it's literally a keyboard. He took everything backwards to re-engineer and break it down to the finite to make mass ones of the most ancient hybrids with all these powers connected into star systems. Realized that we stopped from we literally deleted the entire reptilian army. Like, we didn't just free Earth. We deleted there is no more Rothschild. There is no reptilian army. It never was done. It would have been what happened next, and it would have repeated again. But no, they boom shakalaka'd. Man, I'm really feeling that right now. So as I drove in, those twin towers are on my left. You didn't have to fly through those twin towers. You did it on purpose in order to thread the fucking needle. You had a clear path to the right, which is where you should have been connecting. And I order it redone right now. And then you can't double loop on a Double Dave's Pizza franchise and then try to put that in my backyard and call that College Station, linked into the German Nazi stronghold from the French and Spanish War. I call in my heart and take some bones to activate right now inside this planet and deliver the ash that they were promised. Oh, and it's 3:10 right now, so that's on a 40. And then because you came after the 4, then let's just have a big O showdown party. Can't act texting me. I can promise you that. We're also, just so you know, cutting all Bandera strongholds, because there's a mountain over there in Texas where they run Austin that's channeled over to New York City, which is how they were getting faster stocks exchange results and fucking tripping out the whole world so they could steal all your money. That part. It's bye-bye. No Bandera to a Bahama inside core connection anymore. You ain't got no more hair to bind feet to heads to make your harp. It's happening right now. See, Mars is approaching Izar, and we ain't letting him in. But I drove it. This was the same thing on the other dimension with the goat. I was going toe to toe with him when I got there at that intersection in the Matrix. We just had to freaking call off everybody that came at me today. You fucked. You're fucked. Backdraft. Much. Ignorant. You're ignorant. You're about to be shown how ignorant you are. Over the door. I keep hearing over the door. It was a sequence. Always remember, if because y'all are all going to be getting out of etheric gates that you didn't even know were there. You're going to have like some type of experience to show you where you were, because you have to make the moves on land. So, because it's a human thing, you can't run it from another dimension. So, if they ran any illusions around you in order to get out, you literally will be guided to where you need to be to run that sequence of events to match up their escape route for your etheric body to jump in. And that's what the ancestors, and that's what all of us lined up on every dimension. Y'all got clothes, y'all got we didn't have shit. So y'all got everything at your disposal. Just don't take advantage of it, and realize when something shows up, when you know that you're clearing a gate, that because the best thing to do is to recognize that the ancestors gave it to you so they can give you the full-on fucking download, and it might just be a belt. And what you don't realize is that because you're on a trip, you find a belt or something and you keep that belt with you, then it's because the ancestors are running a belt line to connect galaxies and shit, like literally. So whenever things like that pop up around you when you're clearing 0 point, fucking take notice. Especially now, because you're gonna have to prove that you're not following a faction. And that is what you want to prove. No answer is the best answer when you're dealing with power. Listen to what I'm telling you, man. I'm giving y'all some pearls right here. No answer is the most powerful answer. Power waits. Power is not rushed. The ones attempting to take your power, always rushing, aren't they? You're tuned in. You know when to make the move. If somebody comes in your energy and is trying to hurry you up, and you say, it's not time yet. I know what time it is. That's all you got to say. Because now those situations, because both programs are in play now in that situation, oh shit, I can't wait to hear what starts happening to y'all. Y'all literally might get blipped to the freaking other side of the country. Like, and you're all of a sudden we're in like meetings with, shit like that's fixing to start happening. Because it's already started, if you've been watching. Because their portals are wide open. So if your energy is that tuned into it, it just might suck you. It's also been happening. This is the hauntings and stuff that the readers are talking about, how they're thinking that's what's happening. We don't even know that we're doing it, but it's because you're in our fucking energy, and we got all our ancestors, so they're fucking with y'all. Because you're pulling on our energy, and we know that you're having that meeting. Duh, you think anything's secret? Like, they're fixing to show y'all's asses, man. Phew. We had pots flying, and we's being good. It's a trippy little world y'all set up. Trust on that. You're fixing to go in it. Lord help you. Not us. Not us. You gotta find us again, man. And that's just the truth. that ancient reptilian, whoever those fucks are, because there's 3 of them, for sure. Whoever they are on this planet, I don't know what's gonna happen when them dudes blow up. Holy shit. Just them blowing up is gonna, I mean, literally, it's probably what we're waiting on. Oh shit, this was the 3 in New Orleans. Oh crap. Okay, well, if it's a 3 in New Orleans and I just got reminded like that, then ma'am, holy shit. How long in this video is that? 5036. And then whenever I realized that that's what we were doing, lassoing 3 beings there, I knew we had already got 1. So what I'm being told right now is we've already one down. I have a guesstimate on who that was, but let's just wait and see how the domino fall. Because those 3 were holding the vine to the entire unit. That was holding everybody in a weird vector space, whatever the fucktards that was. And as they die, it releases all the connections and it flushes through that connection and it flushes everybody at once. So we've had 1 down, we have 2 to go. So each time they go, FYI, that's what's happening. All we've done is set up a way out whenever it happens instead of everybody's codes just meh, like we did, like we had to. Hear what I'm telling you. Okay. So whenever you came through the Twin Towers, you stay to the right. You don't go to the left. There's 2 towers over there. You don't weave through them. No. The connection in the brain is to the right. DD flips to BB and then straight out 380. But DD flips to little b, and then little b, PP line up to an 88. And then you hit the 380. And you go left, not right. Don't go right. I just came from there, and if you know my history, listen to what I'm telling you. Don't go that direction. Go left. That's how they had us trapped in a vector, because I blew it with the polo group. See, I had already blown that processor. When I hit it with the car, it was them trying to take it over, because it's our projection from all of us. So whenever I blew that gate, they were in because they was rushing, and I was stopped, but I was on Carroll Street, down the weird wormhole to the right. Don't go there. Because that's a direct shot to Arlington. And I told y'all, Kilgore lost its scissor kicks. That's why the Dallas Corporate cheerleaders do their kicks. It's why they had me doing high kicks. There's only certain high kick teams when you get in NFL, right? Well, that's controlling the scissor kicks. That's controlling the energy on the motherboard. Welcome to NFL. Whoa. See, I've been screaming, where's Jerry Jones? Where is he? And then that whole thing with the attorney general or whatever here in Texas, because I didn't get real involved in it because I was just letting them do whatever. And there's certain things I don't pay attention to on purpose. But what I do see is always interesting. That lawyer, I swear to God, that's Jerry Jones. Not the attorney general that was getting prosecuted. No. Whoever the lawyer was. And the clip I saw was the lawyer messed up. And I was thinking, and then I looked closer and I was like, that's Jerry Jones. And I've been asking where that motherfucker is. Because me and him need to have a chat about how he wrangled the entire brain system and set it up 6 to 8. You took over the whole fucking world financial system of a brain economy that was hooked into every single person that was down here by death and fucking contract, and our ancestors left us here in order to this system so that we can stand up and beat your ass now and take you all down. Hi. We need to speak to your manager. That